Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Doris Day was one of the most beloved and enduring figures in American entertainment, celebrated for her charm, warmth, and versatility as an actress, singer, and cultural icon. Born Doris Mary Anne Kappelhoff on April 3, 1922, in Cincinnati, Ohio, she originally dreamed of becoming a dancer. However, after a serious car accident as a teenager, she redirected her energy towards singing, where her clear, melodic voice and natural phrasing quickly attracted attention. Rise in Music Day began singing on local radio and in big bands during the late 1930s and early 1940s. She gained national prominence as the vocalist for Les Brown and his band of Renown, especially with the 1945 hit Sentimental Journey, which became a wartime anthem for returning soldiers. Her warm, approachable style made her a favorite among both musicians and the public, and she soon transitioned into a solo recording career with Columbia Records. Over the years, she recorded more than 650 songs, establishing herself as one of the most popular singers of her era. Hollywood stardom. Her film career began in 1948 with Romance on the High Seas, where her performance, particularly the song It's Magic, marked her as a natural movie star. She went on to star in a string of musicals, comedies, and dramas throughout the 1950s and 1960s, working with some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Her most notable films include Calamity Jane, 1953, showcasing her comedic energy and vocal talent; Love Me or Leave Me, 1955, a dramatic turn opposite James Cagney, where her acting won critical acclaim; The Man Who Knew Too Much, 1956, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, in which she sang the Oscar-winning Que Sera, Sera, Whatever Will Be, Will Be; a series of romantic comedies with Rock Hudson, including Pillow Talk, 1959, Lover Come Back, 1961, and Send Me No Flowers, 1964, which cemented her status as America's sweetheart. She became one of the top box office draws of the 1960s, often embodying wholesome, independent, yet romantically endearing women. Later career and personal life. In the late 1960s, her career shifted as changing cultural tastes moved away from her brand of clean-cut romantic comedies. She transitioned to television with The Doris Day Show, 1968 to 1973, which ran for 5 successful seasons. Afterward, she largely withdrew from show business. Day faced personal struggles, including 4 marriages, financial difficulties, and betrayals, particularly by her third husband, who left her in debt. Despite these hardships, she remained admired for her resilience and optimism. Animal welfare. In later years, from the 1970s onward, Doris Day devoted herself to animal welfare advocacy, founding the Doris Day Animal Foundation and the Doris Day Animal League. This became her true life's passion, and she worked tirelessly to promote animal rights and protection. She lived a quiet, private life in Carmel Valley, California, rarely making public appearances but staying in touch with fans through her charity work. Legacy. Doris Day passed away on May 13, 2019, at the age of 97. Her legacy is vast. She remains one of the greatest female box office stars in Hollywood history, one of the most successful recording artists of the 20th century, and a pioneering figure in animal rights activism. With her sunny disposition, crystalline voice, and screen presence, Doris Day embodied an era of optimism and charm, while also leaving behind a powerful humanitarian legacy. Early life and beginnings. Doris Day grew up in Cincinnati in a working-class family. Her father, William Kappelhoff, was a music teacher, and her mother, Alma Sophia, encouraged her artistic ambitions. As a child, Doris studied dance and hoped to become a professional dancer. A severe car accident in 1937 crushed that dream, leaving her with a long recovery period. It was during that time she discovered her natural singing ability, often practicing along with the radio. Her stage name, Doris Day, was suggested by bandleader Barney Rapp, who thought her last name, Kappelhoff, was too long for show business. He chose Day because of her sunny personality and because she had sung day after day in his orchestra. Music career in depth. Day's voice was described as clear, effortless, and expressive, with a warmth that could adapt to both ballads and swing numbers. After her big band success with Les Brown, Columbia Records signed her in 1947. Some highlights of her music career: recorded over 650 songs, making her one of the most prolific recording artists in history. Scored numerous chart-topping hits in the 1940s and 1950s, including It's Magic, Secret Love, Again, A Guy is a Guy, and of course, Que Sera. Sarah. Her style balanced between the sentimental crooner tradition and the girl next door appeal, influencing later singers like Karen Carpenter. Released dozens of albums, with Day by Night, 1957, and Duet, 1962, with Andre Previn, considered among her best. Her recordings continue to resonate because of their emotional sincerity. She made listeners feel like she was singing directly to them. Hollywood stardom in detail. Doris Day's movie career covered a wide range of genres. Musicals. She brought vitality to light-hearted pictures like Tea for Two, 1950, Lullaby of Broadway, 1951, and On Moonlight Bay, 1951. Westerns. In Calamity Jane, 1953, she played the rough-and-tumble frontierswoman with energy and humor, and the song Secret Love won an Academy Award. Dramas. Love Me or Leave Me, 1955, showed her depth as Ruth Edding, a torch singer controlled by a gangster husband. Critics considered this one of her finest performances. Thrillers. In Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much, 1956, her character's emotional power anchored the suspense. Romantic comedies. With Rock Hudson, her chemistry was unmatched. Pillow Talk, 1959, earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. From 1960 to 1965, Doris Day was ranked as Hollywood's top female box office star, even outperforming men like Cary Grant and John Wayne at times. Personal struggles. Though she seemed cheerful on screen, Doris Day's personal life was often troubled. She was married 4 times. All ended in divorce. Her third husband, Martin Melcher, mismanaged her money and left her millions in debt upon his death in 1968. Despite these hardships, she never declared bankruptcy. Her hard work on The Doris Day Show allowed her to pay off the debts. She was deeply devoted to her only child, Terry Melcher, a successful music producer, associated with the Byrds and the Beach Boys. Terry's connection to the Manson family case in the late 1960s even indirectly tied Doris to one of Hollywood's darkest moments, though she and her son were unharmed. Animal rights work. From the 1970s onward, Day withdrew from Hollywood and dedicated her life to animals. She founded the Doris Day Pet Foundation, later renamed Doris Day Animal Foundation, in 1978. Established the Doris Day Animal League in 1987, which merged with the Humane Society of the United States. She used her celebrity to campaign for spay-neuter programs, anti-animal cruelty legislation, and better treatment for pets and wildlife. Her advocacy was pioneering at a time when celebrity activism was less common. Later life and recognition. Although she avoided Hollywood reunions and tributes, she remained beloved worldwide. She refused a Presidential Medal of Freedom because she didn't want to fly to Washington, but President George W. Bush sent it to her in 2004. In 2008, She received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Her last album, My Heart, 2011, was a collection of previously unreleased recordings that reached the UK Top 10, proving her enduring popularity. Legacy and impact. Doris Day's legacy rests on three pillars. As an entertainer, her movies and music capture the essence of mid-20th century American optimism. As a cultural icon, she became the symbol of wholesomeness, yet her work often showed independent, witty, and resilient women. As a humanitarian, her decades of animal welfare work ensured that her legacy extended far beyond Hollywood. Even today, Doris Day is remembered as more than just a star. She embodied kindness, resilience, and grace, qualities that made her a timeless figure. Doris Day and Rock Hudson, a legendary duo. One of the most defining aspects of Doris Day's Hollywood career was her on-screen partnership and off-screen friendship with Rock Hudson. Their first film together, Pillow Talk, 1959, was a huge success, winning the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay and earning Doris her sole Oscar nomination for Best Actress. Their sparkling chemistry, witty banter, and romantic tension charmed audiences and made them an iconic duo of 1960s romantic comedy. They went on to star together in Love or Come Back, 1961, and Send Me No Flowers, 1964, cementing their status as one of Hollywood's most beloved screen couples. Off-screen, Doris and Rock shared a genuine, lifelong friendship. She was famously bubbly and affectionate, he was reserved but deeply valued her loyalty. Their friendship had a profound final act in the 1980s. When Rock Hudson was dying of AIDS, he made a rare public appearance on Doris Day's Best Friends, her 1985 TV program about animals. It was one of his last television appearances and helped humanize AIDS at a time when the disease carried stigma and fear. Doris's public embrace of Rock, without hesitation, was seen as an act of love and courage. The girl next door image and cultural symbolism. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, Doris Day was often cast as the wholesome, sunny, morally upright woman, the girl next door. This image, while enormously successful, sometimes worked against her in terms of critical respect. Critics versus audiences. Critics often dismissed her roles as too sweet or conservative, especially compared to the grittier, more daring performances of the New Hollywood era. Yet audiences adored her, flocking to her films and making her one of the biggest box office stars of all time. Complex characters. Beneath her wholesome image, many of her characters were independent, witty, and modern women, career women who navigated romance on their own terms. Films like Pillow Talk depicted her as a single, professional woman who resisted male charm until she was truly ready. In this way, she reflected subtle changes in gender roles during the mid-20th century. Fashion and style. Doris Day was also admired for her fresh, approachable beauty and style. Her bright smile, chic yet practical wardrobe, and natural demeanor made her relatable to everyday women while still glamorous enough for Hollywood. Private life and personality. Despite her public image of sunny cheer, Doris Day was known to be a private, sometimes even shy person. She often resisted Hollywood glamour, preferring a quiet life away from the spotlight. She once remarked, "I've never met an animal I didn't like, and I can't say the same thing about people." This summed up her personality: compassionate, warm, yet cautious. Day avoided alcohol and was known for her discipline in her career, though she suffered heartbreak in her marriages. Her resilience and ability to reinvent herself after personal setbacks inspired many of her fans. After retirement, she lived simply in Carmel Valley, California, enjoying nature, her pets, and her foundation work. later recognition and fan devotion. Although she rarely appeared in public in her later years, Doris Day retained a loyal fanbase worldwide. Fan clubs dedicated to her sprang up across the globe, especially in the US and UK. Her music saw revivals in the 1990s and 2000s, introducing her to new generations. Songs like Perhaps, 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 and Dream a Little Dream of Me found second lives in films and commercials. The Doris Day Animal Foundation became a cornerstone of her legacy, with proceeds from her memorabilia auctions and birthday fundraisers going to animal welfare causes. Death and legacy. Doris Day passed away on May 13, 2019, at her Carmel Valley home. At the age of 97, her death was mourned worldwide, not only by fans of her films and music but also by animal lovers and those who admired her private strength. Her legacy can be summed up in 3 dimensions. Hollywood star, one of the most bankable stars in cinema history. Voice of an era, her songs became anthems of post-war optimism. Humanitarian, she left a mark far beyond entertainment through her tireless animal advocacy. Why she still matters. Doris Day remains a rare type of celebrity, someone who managed to embody joy, decency, and resilience without ever appearing artificial. Her life reminds us that optimism can coexist with hardship, that stardom doesn't erase humanity, and that kindness, whether to people or animals, can be a legacy just as great as fame. Chronological overview of Doris Day's life and career. 1922 to 1939. Childhood and early dreams. Born April 3, 1922 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Trained as a dancer from a young age, dreaming of a career in dance. In 1937, at age 15, a serious car accident shattered her right leg. During recovery, she began singing along with the radio. The accident essentially redirected her life. 1939 to 1945. Big band singer, began singing on Cincinnati radio shows. Joined Barney Rapp's band and adopted the stage name, Doris Day. Later worked with Bob Crosby and finally Les Brown and his band of Renown. 1945, achieved stardom with Sentimental Journey, which became the anthem for returning World War II soldiers. The song's lyrics about longing for home resonated deeply with wartime America. Other hits: My Dreams Are Getting Better All the Time, 1945. 1948 to 1954, Hollywood breakthrough. 1948, made her film debut in Romance on the High Seas. Warner Brothers signed her to a contract. Early musicals included Tea for Two, 1950, Lullaby of Broadway, 1951, and On Moonlight Bay, 1951. 1953, Calamity Jane became a major hit. Secret Love won the Oscar for Best Original Song. 1955 to 1958, critical acclaim and versatility. 1955, gave one of her best performances in Love Me or Leave Me, opposite James Cagney, based on singer Ruth Etting's life. Critics praised her dramatic ability. 1956, starred in Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much. The song Que Sera, Sera won the Oscar for Best Song and became her signature tune. By the late 1950s, she was Hollywood's most popular female star. 1959 to 1964, peak stardom and romantic comedy era. 1959, Pillow Talk, with Rock Hudson, huge box office hit, earned Doris an Academy Award nomination. 1960s, became the queen of sophisticated romantic comedies. Please Don't Eat the Daisies, 1960, Lover Comeback, 1961, That Touch of Mink, 1962, with Cary Grant, The Thrill of It All, 1963, and Send Me No Flowers, 1964, at this time. She rivaled or surpassed male stars as a top box office draw. She was named Hollywood's #1 star 4 times, 1960, 1962, 1963, 1964. 1965 to 1973, transition in television. By the mid-1960s, tastes in film were changing. Youth-oriented and countercultural films made Doris Day's clean-cut comedies feel dated to critics, though audiences still adored her. Her last films included Caprice, 1967, and With Six You Get Egg Roll, 1968. 1968, after her husband's death, she discovered he had left her in debt and committed her to a TV show contract without her knowledge. Despite being devastated, Doris honored the contract. The Doris Day Show, 1968 to 1973, became a hit, starting as a family sitcom and evolving into a more sophisticated comedy. 1974 to 1990s, retirement and animal welfare. After 1973, Doris Day left acting and devoted her energy to animals. Founded the Doris Day Animal Foundation and Doris Day Animal League. She was ahead of her time in advocating for spay-neuter programs and stronger animal protection laws. Hosted Doris Day's Best Friends, 1985-1986, a short-lived TV show focused on pets. Her longtime home in Carmel Valley, California, became her sanctuary. 2000's 2019. Recognition and legacy. Though she declined many honors because of her dislike of travel, Doris Day was widely celebrated in later life. 2004, awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. 2008, received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. 2011, released My Heart, a UK Top 10 album of unreleased recording.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.